How's it going, everyone? Dave Brown here with the New Populist. Thank you again for joining me. Everyone is talking about this Tucker Carlson firing, and I've given it more thought because watching the reaction from people, everyone wants to pinpoint an exact reason why he was fired. Was it because of the Dominion lawsuit? Was it because of his position on the Ukraine-Russia conflict? Was it him platforming RFK Jr. or him talking about God? The answer is all of the above. There's not one reason. There's one overlying reason, that being he is a pest to the establishment and they wanted him out. And finally, the Murdochs found a moment where they thought, we can do it now. Don Lemon's getting fired. We have the settlement of this Dominion suit. So that could provide some cover that would allow other media outlets like the Washington Post or the New York Times to say that Tucker Carlson was fired because of the voting issue and of Dominion and that lawsuit. That's just cover. We know the real reason. He was a pest. Now, it makes you wonder, now that he's gone, who was left on Fox News? And what does that say about them that they are still there? Now, there are people there like Greg Gutfeld, who I do like, but you have to ask the question, how much of a threat is that person to the establishment if they're still getting paid by MSNBC, by CNN, by Fox News, by NBC News, by ABC News? And the answer is probably not a big threat. Now, people do have their dissent. You can talk about the cultural issues, and Gutfeld, for example, does do that a lot. But there are certain topics that put a target on your back: vaccines, foreign wars, and challenging the intelligence state. Those three right there will get you eventually thrown off. And you'll see people like Ben Shapiro talk about the trans issue, and that's a distraction. You know, it's important, and certainly I've voiced my opinion on those things very harshly because I think it's absolutely insane. But that is the approved thing you can talk about in the media. So conservative media, on radio, on TV, they can talk about the trans swimmer, they can talk about the drag shows, but they can't dissent on the foreign wars. They can't dissent or talk too in depth about the vaccines or challenge the CIA Operation Mockingbird, which is the thing the CIA did back in the 70s, where they were paying journalists to plant certain narratives in the mainstream media. And of course, they are most likely, 100% still doing it today. And in fact, they actually have former people from the CIA actually work for the networks like MSNBC and CNN. They hire the former CIA director. So it's Operation Mockingbird. Is this happening? Well, not really, because it's not really an operation. It's not being hidden. It's not covert. It's right out in the open, where you're being propagandized by these people openly. Apparently, a good portion of the country is okay with it, and it blows my mind. So who was left on TV? Ask yourself why. And the other thing I want to talk about as well is the issue of alternative media, because people have this idea that Tucker Carlson will go elsewhere, and he will, and make money, and he will, and that somehow alternative media will balloon and overtake the mainstream media and challenge it. And not to be a downer here, but I don't see that. What the alternative media does and who it attracts are the people who are already converted. So if you're searching out people on Rumble, if you're searching out certain YouTubers, you were already looking for that. You're already converted. You're already working against the establishment. The people who we need to reach, the people who decide elections, are those people who are busy, they have kids, they work 60 hours a week, and the only news they consume is in small bits when they're standing in line at a restaurant and there's Fox News on or CNN. While they're at the airport, maybe they turn on NPR in their car on the way to work. People who are too busy to really get into depth, people who are sort of in the middle, those are the people who decide elections. And by not having Tucker Carlson on Fox, that is one less person that might possibly get their message through to somebody who really doesn't pay attention. So while it's great to have alternative media, the mainstream media still has an incredible amount of power, and their power is to sway the masses in the middle who are just, like cattle walking around and push them and herd them into a certain direction. So it's great that Tucker will go somewhere else and he will succeed and have a massive audience. But will that change what happens when we go to vote in 2024? Will that influence those voters in those swing states, those suburban moms, those blue-collar dads who don't pay attention to politics the way that me and you do? And that is the problem, and that is the power of mainstream media. And that is why I am a little pessimistic going forward about how much we can influence people and bring them onto our path, which is fighting the establishment. And the last thing, YouTube. YouTube just demonetized Matt Walsh. And there's a lot of people on YouTube with some very anti-establishment opinions. And I think we're going to start to see some more pressure on YouTube to eliminate and push away some of these people, because YouTube is a massive platform that controls, I think, 95% of the market. And YouTube, being part of Google, is definitely at some point going to crank it up even more, because that is where everybody is sort of collapsing to. And here myself, I'm on YouTube, and I fully expect that at some point in time, I'm too small and too insignificant for anybody to care about. But if you get to a certain level, they'll start whacking away at you. Matt Walsh and a few others demonetized, or have their channels canceled. I have a friend of mine, Joe Mobley, who had his channel canceled and just gone completely. And he wasn't, a massive YouTuber. He was just a person who was saying things that were not what the establishment wants, in a way that got the attention of the senses there on YouTube, and boom, he's gone. So it can happen to anyone, and I expect him to turn up the heat going forward, especially as the 2024 election approaches. So this Tucker Carlson firing, it's a big deal, and its impacts are, I think, greater than we realize. And unfortunately, the powers that be, they really have a stranglehold. And yes, we have our alternative media, and yes, we're going to use it. But again, it is those people in the middle, as Rush Limbaugh would refer to them, your low information voters, who are just getting little sound bites here and there. They're the ones in masses that are deciding elections, and alternative media doesn't reach them. Alternative media only reaches the already converted, and that's not changing any votes, unfortunately. So that is the situation we are in. It'll be interesting to see who Fox replaces in the 8 p.m. slot. Will they be, well, they're not going to be anything like Tucker, we know that. But I'll be curious to see who it is and what kind of person they are. I do know this. They will be pro-Ukraine war, 100%. I do know that. If they're not, I'll set myself on fire. But I think I'm safe. Well, that's it for now. If you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.